Well, we're a few chapters in now to Ten of Swords. We're starting with Wolverine number 6. This is part 3 of 22. And one thing that Marvel didn't do the best job, I think, of advertising is that this week you get Wolverine number 6. And on top of that, you get X-Force. And the two titles, this is X-Force number 13, and these are parts 3 and 4, and they lead directly into each other. Both are written by Ben Percy, both are illustrated by Victor Bognovic, and they are a part 1 and a part 2 story within this multi-part Ten of Swords. So if you're coming into this, this is, well, we'll talk about it in a minute, but how's Wolverine do in this first part? Hey everybody, this is Perch. 3 reviews today. Thank you very much, the Gift of Marvel, for giving me lots of Ten of Swords content to go through. Why do I do this to myself? I'm not sure. Anyway, Ten of Swords Wolverine number 6, part 3 of 22 or 24, depending on how you're counting, or 25, I guess, depending on how you're counting. This issue is by Ben Percy, Victor Bognovic, and it looks beautiful. I'm just going to put it out there right now. Victor Bognovic is easily one of Marvel's top talents at the moment. He draws an incredible Wolverine. And some credit should go to Matt Wilson, who is the colorist, who really does a good job with the backgrounds and the color. It's just the mood is really solid, and visually, this book looks really, really nice. So, you know, Victor Bognovic, great talent. In all honesty, I think he just brings a lot of excitement to the page. He made a statement on Twitter, and I mean, I know there's a whole drama that's going on over there, but that he doesn't want to do comics that he's not drawing the primary cover for. And we do get 2 issues here, one by Dustin Weaver for the X-Force, and this one by Adam Kubert. And it's like, I think he was right in his statement that he should draw the cover. But he does not draw the covers for either of these. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. At any rate, as I mentioned in the lead-in, these are 2 issues that go completely together, Wolverine and X-Force. And I think if I'm Marvel, they made a mistake by having these issues come out on the same day. On one hand, it's nice. You just kind of binge the 2 of them right together. On the other hand, they're really beautiful comics visually, and I think Ben Percy's telling a good story here, and I think there's a lot that feels like a classic Wolverine story. So it's a little bit confusing to me why they wouldn't, space these out. Like, this would be a perfect opportunity to do one, and then a week later the next. I mean, this is where you build the suspense. It would be good to do, but scheduling. Who knew? It's a lost art. At any rate, getting into the actual review. So we kick right in, and we're getting a lot of narration going along the whole way. And this is another case where it feels like one of the Wolverine stories of old, other than we're not getting a lot of "I'm the best at what I do and what I do isn't very nice" kind of comments in here. We're still getting very much what feels like a Wolverine story. It opens, he's having a conversation with Karakoa, a one-sided conversation, basically saying what others do, which is, you know, you kind of overruled basically the Quiet Council, and you're running your own agenda. And kind of Wolverine puts him on notice that that now basically Karakoa has forced the X-Men into this war where people will die, and they did this kind of outside of their control. And Wolverine's noting, "I'm never going to trust you because you're running your own deal." Of course, he's not answered, but it's a good setup that establishes Wolverine's kind of tougher character, and also Krakoa's Krakoa's place in all this, which gets overlooked at times. We get a little recap, and God bless Ben Percy for just giving us the most straightforward recap. We're like the third part into this, and it's like, champions of Karakoa are selected to each receive a special sword to participate in a cross-dimensional tournament against the champions of Araco. Wolverine was one of the chosen. Now I must find the blade. Thanks. It sounds ridiculous, but I appreciate here's what you're in for. This would have been a good text to put in the solicitation. I'm just saying. That would have been a good idea. Anyway, we get a little bit of Wolverine's past, where he's talking about himself, this quest he's on, where he's got to go find the Muramasa blade. And his first stop is the Silver Samurai. And basically we briefly touch on, and if there's one complaint I have in this issue, we're hitting upon a bunch of his past, which is good. It shows somebody's reading their comics. But these things are also really quick, like 3 pages. That's it. Wolverine shows up, there's a splash page, and they have a quick fight, and Wolverine very quickly, easily takes down Silver Samurai. And as he does. I just, there's some cool stuff in here that I would have liked to have seen play out. I mean, these are issue long battles. So on one hand, it's really nice that you're just moving things along when so many comics are decompressed as hell. And so this is, I'm very pleased to see her just trucking along. On the other hand, it's like, this is the stuff I'd rather see more decompressed than, pages and pages of them like hanging out at the bar and joking about something they saw on YouTube. And it's like, I mean, you're decompressing the wrong parts. Oh, well. At any rate, the issue then flips over to Karakoa, and we're seeing kind of Wolverine's opponent here, which is a new character they have basically created here called Solem. And Solem is, in a pit. So he's a prisoner. And, we're hearing from War a lot of, they hate this guy. He should be dead. He's probably broken, but what the hell? He's going to be our warrior anyway. But it turns out Solem is not dead. He's very much alive and doing well. And we hear a little bit about kind of his personality. He's a super warrior, and he is very charming, but he's disliked. Death apparently killed Death's husband, and so. But he easily is able to get out of this imprisonment, showing he could get out at any time, and that he's excited to go kind of find the blade. We learned a little bit about Solem, that he basically either has powers or have the ability to make everyone kind of fall in love and hate him simultaneously. He's, some call him a devil, but the devil deals in evil. He's a very strange, a very powerful character. And we're told, spoilers, that this character is going to probably survive Ten of Swords, or at least is being set up to be a more major force against Wolverine. And on one hand, it's nice. It's we learn kind of later that he's got adamantium skin, so he's basically a new cyber, but he's a kind of a Loki personality with a cyber power set and skin, and that's interesting. It's a contrast to Wolverine. But we flip back to Wolverine, who's in Tokyo, and he's beating his way through it to talk to kind of all the old places, including Mariko, and he's on the hunt for this sword. And he's finally led to a temple of the hand, where he is, of course, attacked when he gets there, and he's learning that the hand itself has changed and has gone darker. And we there was some references to this, I don't know, several years ago, like pre-Wolverine's death. I believe that the hand was going in this direction, and then it was just kind of dropped and nobody picked up on it, and it was, whatever else. So again, credit to Ben Percy for actually digging up some of these storylines that were lost in around the 2010 kind of reign era, and making them relevant. We're not going to forget the past. So Wolverine shows up, he goes in this temple, he's immediately jumped by a bunch of ninjas. We start flashing back and forth to his skeleton kind of coming out of the lava, and he finds that Muramasa has been kind of sacrificed or is in some kind of dire straits, and he's been sent to hell. And so we're using some analogies in the dialogue between Karakoa and Karakoa and Earth and Hell, and kind of the barriers being breached and everything else. So Wolverine heads down, and he basically emerges out of the lava as just his skeleton, which is always a nice little throwback to the to the Civil War bit where Nitro blew up Wolverine. I mean, we've seen different instances where apparently Wolverine can just wander around as a skeleton now, but he's in hell, so maybe that's how he can do it. I don't know. It brings back the memories of that Nitro storyline in Civil War where he. I think Victor Ramos had him wandering around as a skeleton for a while. But anyway, he does that, and he comes across Muramasa. Muramasa is down in hell forging swords. And he says, "Save me." And so that's where our issue kind of ends. One other little brief bit here is that we do get a little data sheet on the Crooked Market by Mad Jim Jaspers. And what is, maybe I'm missing it, but the Crooked Market, why that's in here is a little bit, I don't know. I'm not sure where that applies to this issue of Wolverine or if it's just in here, but being an Alan Davis fan, and I like Mad Jim Jaspers, so I'm anxious to see what they do there. If they're trying to fit that in to Ten of Swords as well as all the rest of this stuff, I'm thinking they're nuts, but more power to you. But anyway, that's how Wolverine number 6 ends. So that's the ends of our review here. And then we'll hop right over and do X-Force number 13 in a minute. So what about you? Did you like this issue? Again, I think Victor Bogdanovic's art is really solid. It's good, solid art. And a lot of people give a lot of praise to Ryan Stegman, and I think Stegman's doing great work over at Marvel as well. But to me, Victor Bogdanovic is there's something about it that really reminds me of Wolverine. It feels like comics I read as a kid. And this is credit to Ben Percy. Again, can't say enough about Matt Wilson, I think, doing some really brilliant coloring here as well. It brings those things to life. So I think it looks nice. Fun little comic. I admit this one was enjoyable. Good old Wolverine quest, as always, can't ever turn that down. And, we're progressing the story. I think there is this looming thought in the back of my mind that, we've got chapter 11 is Ten of Swords Stasis, number 1. And it feels like that's where people are going to show up to the arena to fight. So it means that we've got 10 comics of them kind of looking around for swords, which is, that's a lot of looking around for swords time. But okay, why not? So anyway, there you go. Did you like the issue? Did you like the art? Did you like the story? How are you feeling about Ten of Swords in general? Leave a comment below. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, dislike, whatever you feel like. It's all up to you, but thanks for listening.